Hi guys, today is customary measurement using length. And today I was measuring around the house. So what you actually need to do is you need to watch the two videos ahead of this particular video that will lead you into this one, and it'll make a whole lot more sense. But today we're basically learning how to measure. So come along with me as we measure. All right, before we get started, I do suggest that you pause this video and that you look over, that you copy this website down because this is a great measurement song by Number Rock. So I encourage you to listen to that. All right, so now we're going to be talking about some examples when we're using measurement. And the cool thing is things like paper clips. A small paper clip is about an inch long. So that kind of gives you an idea. A piece of paper, a sheet of paper is about a foot long. We have a baseball bat, and that is about a yard long. And then the other unit of measure for longer distance is going to be a mile. And you can walk a mile about 20 minutes comfortably. All right. Your body is something that can also help you when you're measuring. If you don't have access to some sort of measuring tool, then your body is equipped to help you with that. So remember, when you are measuring, you want to start at the zero. That's super important. But we have different parts in our body. We have the inch, we have the foot. That is actually this amount here. If you spread your arms out, you've got about a yard. And when you're walking for about 20 minutes, you have a mile. Okay, so now we're going to actually talk about how to measure. So I have some steps for this. The first thing that you want to do is when you're looking at your ruler, some rulers actually have a zero on the end. So you would want to look for the zero. Some rulers do not have a zero, like this one does not. So you have to look at that black line. I want you to see that black line there at the end. Don't just go to the end of your ruler, because sometimes they make the ruler a little bit longer and they don't start notching the numbers until further in. So I notice here I'm going to line up whatever my object is. My object this time happens to be a comb. And I'm putting some yellow lines just to kind of help you. So this is at that zero spot, even though there is no zero. And then I want to figure out how close I am to the next inch. So here's where that yellow mark is. This means that I am very, very close to 7 inches. So my answer would be recorded in inches since we're measuring in inches. Let's try another one. As a review, I'm looking, I don't have a zero, so I start right there at that line. All right, this time I am going to be measuring a dog. And in my video, you can see that I actually measure my own dog. This dog is a paper dog, and it's being measured in inches. So you can see that I have, I'm looking for the closest inch, and my yellow line comes right in there at 8 inches. This is recorded at 8 inches. All right, here's my next one. Again, we're looking at that zero or that end line. We're going to line everything up. And this one's a little bit tricky because I'm actually not wanting to measure the object inside there. I'm wanting to measure the outside edge. So you can see that I put my line right there. If we were measuring the object itself, I would have had to move it down. But notice that this is that halfway mark right there. In fact, if I go back, it's not letting. This is that halfway mark. Each one of them has a halfway mark, and you can see it's just a little bit longer than the other ones. This is in the halfway mark. So this one happens to be 5.5 inches. All right, now I'm going to mess with your head a little bit because I told you that it's really important to measure at the very beginning, which is over here. But sometimes you're going to see where people want to trick you and they want to see how long is this pencil. And I'll tell you what lots of kids like to do. They like to go right here and say, oh, it's 9 inches long. I can see that. Well, I'm going to tell you it's not 9 inches long because what did you do with the space right here? So watch what I do. I am bringing my yellow line because I am starting at 2 inches. All right. And then I'm bringing my yellow line because I'm ending at 9 inches. Now I have to figure out how many inches is my pencil. So if I move from here to here, that's 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, 5 inch, 6 inch, 7 inch. Now, the other cool thing that I can do is I can take the 9 inches, which is at the end, and I am going to subtract the 2 inches that's right here, and that's going to give me the 7 inches, which is in the middle. I can also think of it like this. 2 plus what will give me my 9 inches, and that is going to be 7. All right, so that's a little way you can use adding and subtracting as well. All right, why don't you pause the video and try this one? Tell me how many inches you think it is, and then come on back and I'll show you. Okay, hopefully you did not say 10 inches, all right, because what would we have done with all that? So hopefully you noticed that you were starting at 4 inches. All right, here's my 4 inches, and you were going to end at 10 inches. So 4 plus something is going to equal 10, or I could say 10 take away 4 equals. All right, so let's figure out what that is, and I can also mark on here. From here to here is 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches. All right, so 4 plus 6 gives me 10 inches, and 10 take away 4 gives me 6 inches. All right, so my answer is 6 inches long. All right, now I'm starting to trick you a little bit. What do you think about this one? Pause the video and try it yourself. All right. First thing I want to notice is we did nothing here. We started at the 6, all right? The next thing that I need you to notice is that we're not at 9 and we're not at 10. We are somewhere in between, which means we are going to have a half, all right? So I started at 6 and I'm going to end at 9.5, all right? So let's remember that. So 6 plus something is going to give me 9.5. All right, so from here to here is 1, here to here is 2, here to here is 3, and then there's that little bit of a half. So 6 plus 3.5 gives me 9. Or if I had 9.5 and I took away 6, that would give me 3.5 inches left. And that's how many inches long this pencil is. All right, try this one. Okay, hopefully you could see that it was not started there. So I actually started at my 1, and you could see that here is 7 and here is 8, and that's not where I ended. So I ended at the 7.5. So 1 plus something is going to equal 7.5, or 7.5 take away 1 is going to equal however many inches that is. All right, so let's figure it out. From here to here is 1 inch. This is 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches, and then there's my half. So I have 6.5 inches, and I can put 6.5 inches in here as well. All right, now I mentioned this in our Zoom class. If you don't happen to have something at your home that you can use to measure with, you can always use this quarter, because a quarter actually equals 1 inch. It's real close to 1 inch. So I had one of the students say, well, if we laid out 12, would we have 12 inches? Absolutely. Would you have a foot? Absolutely. So using a quarter to measure things around the house is lots of fun as well. So today when you're measuring, I hope that you try this out and measure some really cool things. Make sure you make an estimate before, and that you measure, and make sure that you check out the other 2 measuring around the house videos that I have. That's all for today. Bye-bye.